What's up everybody, Alex from Uncanny here, and today I want to talk to you about the difference between full spectrum, broad spectrum, and isolate-based CBD hemp extracts. I get this question all the time, and it is honestly a pretty confusing topic. People throw these phrases around without really knowing what they mean, but today I'm going to tell you exactly the difference between the three. So first, let's just talk about what this spectrum really is in full spectrum or broad spectrum. And the spectrum really refers to the different compounds that are in the natural extract. So when you think of a CBD oil, it's not just CBD that's in that oil. There's different fats, there's different terpenes, potentially different cannabinoids, and other things that create the full picture. And so in that sense, a full spectrum product would be just that. It has the entire full spectrum of naturally occurring compounds that are found in that extract. So on the totally other side of the spectrum would be what's considered an isolate. And as that sounds, it's the CBD that's been stripped away and isolated from all the other naturally occurring compounds in that extract. And then in the middle, between an isolate and a full spectrum extract, you have the whole range of broad spectrum. And as that sounds, it doesn't necessarily have the full set of compounds, but it has a lot of them, or most of them. For example, at Uncanny Wellness, we removed the THC from our products. So that is technically part of the spectrum, which is why we don't call ours a full spectrum extract. Instead, it's a broad spectrum extract. So it has the CBD, it has the terpenes, the flavonoids, and all those other naturally occurring compounds in the extract. A common misconception that people have is that you need THC in order for CBD to work properly. There is some truth in that because THC and CBD work synergistically together, but you don't need the THC for the CBD to work. Going off of that, something like an isolate would work, it just doesn't work necessarily as well as a full spectrum product. So full spectrum is gonna have absolutely everything in it. As such, if you remove any part of that spectrum, whether you're removing the THC or even if you're distilling down and concentrating what's in the extract, you're getting into the territory of broad spectrum. So really, most of what's out there in the market is gonna be a broad spectrum and not a full spectrum, because full is just a very absolute phrase. And as a natural result of the processing and extraction and refinement into that final product form, you do lose certain parts of that spectrum. Another important thing to understand is that the spectrum, full spectrum, broad spectrum, directly relates to what's known as the entourage effect. And the entourage effect basically says that when you have CBD in conjunction with the other naturally occurring compounds that it's usually found with, it has a greater amplified effect versus an isolate, which is just CBD, has no entourage, has no other components of the spectrum, and is less effective than a full or broad spectrum product. So you can kind of think of it like there's more entourage effect happening, the more full the spectrum is. And as you start taking things away, you're removing naturally occurring compounds from that spectrum, you're losing members of the entourage, and over time, you go all the way to an isolate format, which has no entourage effect happening whatsoever. The nice thing about a broad spectrum extract is that you can do something like THC removal, which is what we do, and that's nice for people that may have to get drug tested, or just don't want any trace THC in their system, or maybe they want to give it to their kids or a pet, or they're a pilot, or any reason like that. They can still enjoy the benefits of the entourage effect and of a broad spectrum CBD extract without having any residual THC. Because the legal limit for hemp products is 0.3% THC, so a full spectrum product could have at most 0.3%, but you could easily remove that, making it broad spectrum, or end up removing everything for an isolate. For most people, the best option for a CBD product is going to be a full or broad spectrum extract. Isolates are kind of the pharmaceutical reduction of CBD. It strips it away from everything else, reducing its holistic nature and making it more controllable. As such, isolates are the cheapest form of CBD available, and a lot of times people will actually just throw isolate into a product to make it a really high milligram count and then end up charging you more, even though you're getting a lesser quality product. So when you're out there trying to figure out which CBD product is best for you, it's fair to either ask the company or look for where it says it on the label to see, is it isolate, broad spectrum, or full spectrum? And that should help you decide exactly what you're looking for. So in summary, on one end, you have an absolutely full spectrum product. That's gonna have the most other compounds besides CBD, and it's gonna have the most entourage effect. On the other end, you have an isolate where the CBD is stripped away from all the other naturally occurring compounds. There are no extra compounds in the extract, and there's gonna be no entourage effect. And then in the middle, you would have the range of broad spectrum extracts that don't have all the naturally occurring compounds, but have most of them, and you're still getting the benefits of the entourage effect because of the terpenes, the flavonoids, the polyphenols, and all of the other array of compounds that are naturally present in a CBD hemp extract. So that's it. That's the breakdown between full spectrum, broad spectrum, and isolate. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, leave a comment down below if you want to share your thoughts, and make sure to share this with friends so that they can understand the difference between these three forms of CBD as well. That's all for today. See you next time. Peace.